my son Robert and his wife Sarah, with other cousins, gathered in my living room. It felt less a wake than a brazen celebration of their perceived good fortune. I pictured champagne flutes, but instead, only lukewarm tea was served. Sarah, with her perfect hair and unreaching smile, made mental notes. She despised my antique home as cluttered. I pictured her picking new paint colors. She was stripping away cherished memories. I watched from beyond, unseen, their greedy revelry. Their smiles were unnatural, their laughter too loud for mourning. Their eyes often drifted to my roll-top desk. They imagined my will waited inside. For years I'd clearly seen their true colors. Robert, my son, treated me like an ATM. He'd often call with a business opportunity or an urgent car repair story, always a veiled demand. Sarah, his wife, refined this into an art. She added false charm and empty concern. They promised grand care, but it quickly became just one weekly phone call. Each call spiraled into a veiled money request. It was always prefaced by hollow sentiments. My grandniece, Clara, was truly a breath of fresh air. Clara visited faithfully, bringing wild flowers and genuine conversation. She listened intently, never asked for a single thing. Clara truly cared. She was a rare and gentle soul. In Robert and Sarah's self-centered world, Clara was virtually invisible. The deepest betrayal had come years ago. It was like a knife twisting in an old, unhealed wound. They convinced me to sign over the old family cottage. They swore it would be our shared summer retreat. Within months, that shared retreat, my childhood haven, was sold for a tidy profit. Years later, I lay in my hospital bed, my body failing. Yet my ears were sharp. I heard their hushed, calculating conversations just outside my room. They discussed my remaining assets with eager anticipation. They thought I was too weak, too muddled by illness, to understand. They assumed my thoughts were dim, but my mind was razor sharp. It was clearer than it had been in decades. Every greedy whisper cemented my resolve. I spent my final weeks diligently with Mr. Henderson, my lawyer. We refined every single clause. We ensured my new will was absolutely airtight. He sat across from me, his expression a mix of gravity and sadness. He admired my quiet determination. "Are you absolutely certain, Agnes?" he'd asked. His eyes searched mine for any doubt. "Absolutely," I replied. There was no flicker of doubt in my voice. A steely calm settled over me. It was a peace I hadn't felt in decades. The decision was made. There was no turning back. The will reading arrived 2 weeks after my funeral. Robert sat smugly beside Sarah on my velvet sofa. They exchanged knowing glances. They already pictured a lavish new life. It would be funded by my supposed generosity. The living room air was thick with palpable anticipation. A silent storm was waiting. Mr. Henderson cleared his throat. His gaze swept over the expectant, greedy faces gathered there. He began with everyone leaned forward, eager for the numbers. Agnes had a profound understanding of her family's needs, he stated. A subtle glint appeared in his eye as he paused. Robert, envisioning a large inheritance, leaned forward. A triumphant smirk formed. Sarah nudged him, a gesture of shared victory. To my beloved son, Robert, and his wife, Sarah, Mr. Henderson then read. His voice remained steady. "I bequeath what in Wylife. This is for services rendered and to cover debts incurred during my final days." The words hung, a sharp punch to the gut. Robert's posture crumpled instantly. Sarah's grip tightened, her eyes wide with dawning horror. A collective gasp echoed through the stunned room. Robert's face, moments before smug, turned furious purple. Sarah's jaw dropped completely. Her perfect blonde hair seemed to deflate. Her perfect blonde hair seemed to deflate. Her perfect purple applicability. Then came the next bombshell. "To my dear grandniece, Clara," the lawyer continued. His gaze softened considerably. She showed me true compassion, unwavering loyalty, and selfless care. I leave her my entire estate. This includes my cherished home, its contents, and my financial investments without exception. Clara, who had sat so quietly, almost forgotten in her corner, now looked up. Her gentle eyes were wide with shock and a hint of tears. A hand flew to her mouth. The room erupted in murmurs. Robert, his face enraged red, sprang to his feet. He sputtered desperate accusations, undue influence, elder abuse, mental incompetence. He yelled wildly about my dementia. From his satchel, Mr. Henderson calmly pulled a thick binder. Its pages overflowed with medical evaluations and typewritten documents. It was undeniable proof. The silence was absolute, deafening, heavy with their undone lies. Their fate was sealed. Their undoing was a quiet, shaming unmasking. It was not a dramatic explosion. They left my house that day, not with a fortune. They carried only the bitter taste of naked greed and public humiliation. They had nothing. And I finally found lasting peace. It was a contentment I hadn't truly known in life. I found it in the quiet satisfaction of watching truth win. It dismantled their deceit one carefully planned beat at a time. My conscience was clear. After they raised a toast to my passing, unaware my last wish held their undoing, what would you do first in that situation? Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. If you enjoyed this, leave a like. Drop your thoughts and suggestions in the comments.